Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at a bunch of little news items that have been wandering around the place. Basically, when it comes to War Thunder, they have been doing a bunch of little things, so making these videos makes the most sense. So in this one, we'll have a look at some devblogs, we'll have a look at some returning premiums, and also have a look at some future content that is going to be turning up, such as, in the data mines, there was the US Air Force birthday decal. This one will probably come in this weekend, since the US Air Force's anniversary was on the 18th of September, so they're probably going to use this and also bring back a bunch of premiums on sale, as they usually do for this. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's get started. The first piece of news is about the F5TH, the Super Tigris, which is coming in. This is a new Thai vehicle that is coming to the Japanese tech tree, and what it is a very, very upgraded F5. It's going to be the highest BR F5 in the game, and because of that, it'll be interesting to see how it actually goes, because usually when you have these vehicles which are very high in BR, but also are quite limited in weaponry and at the same time don't have all their features upgraded, such as the engines on this thing, they usually struggle a little bit, and I'm a bit worried that that's going to happen to this. But then again, the F5 in general is a fantastic machine. It's one of the best in the game to fly and just super fun. But it's usually best in the dogfighting area, basically using the missiles as a secondary, whereas when it comes to this vehicle, it looks like you're going to have to use them more as a primary and then go in with the guns afterwards. And the question is, will you be able to do that, especially since you're going to be slower than a lot of vehicles that you'll be facing? Originally acquired in the late 1970s during the Cold War, Thailand purchased the F5 to strengthen its air defense amid growing regional tensions in Southeast Asia at the time and rising influence of both the US and Soviet Union in the region. By the 2010s, the RTAF faced aging fighting fleets and limited budgets, making full replacement with modern current generation fighters financially difficult. Instead, Thailand opted to upgrade its F5s in cooperation with Israel's Elbit Systems, producing the F5TH Super Tigris. The upgrade added modern avionics, radar, electronic warfare systems, new cockpit displays, and compatibility with advanced air-to-air and precision-guided weapons, bringing the aircraft's capabilities close to those of newer multi-role fighters. The F5TH both allowed Thailand to extend the service life of its existing fleet of F5s while also complementing new fighters like the Swedish JAS-39 Gripen. Entering operational service in 2019, the Super Tigris ensures that the RTAF continues to field capable multi-role aircraft to the present day, despite procurement constraints. The type is expected to remain in service until the late 2020s, before reaching the age limit of the airframes, showing that this vehicle basically will continue to go. Now, the big upgrade, at least for players, is of course the radar, but the fact that it can mount A9Ms, the Python 3, and also the Derby active radar homing missile. But since you can only take 2 Derbys and then 2 IR missiles, it worries me that this thing will be super limited in terms of its weaponry. Luckily, it can also get Mavericks though, and also many other kind of guided munitions, so from a CAS point of view, it actually helps out the Japanese tech tree a lot. It just kind of sucks that this vehicle will go up against vehicles that has basically double, if not more, the amount of missiles that it has, and it has to just kind of deal with it. The F5 is super fun in the game. If you've never played an F5, I highly recommend it, but just understand, this one is probably in one of the weaker positions. The next piece of news is the YP-38 is back on sale, basically because of its first flight, and also it's part of the P-38 history. Now, the YP-38 used to be available in a Pacific pack, and before that, the P-38G was available instead, which was kind of interesting. A big downgrade, but the problem with that is the P-38G didn't really exist, or the XP-38G, so it made sense that they brought this in just to kind of, copy-paste it, but actually put in something that is real. Now, the YP-38 being the prototype of the P-38 series it mimics it quite a lot. You have access to the V17-1027 engines, which have 1166 horsepower. You have the big old 37mm and also some 50 cals and also some 7.62 millimeters. And some of them are just so weird in terms of how they're set up, not because you don't have to worry about convergence, but because they have different muzzle velocities. So actually getting them all on target at once can be very hard. Usually you have to get quite close to vehicles in order to hammer all the guns. And if you're doing that, normally you have problems because, you know, vehicles can kind of outturn you. Even though this thing has a very large elevator, it works best in a boom and zoom way, which means hitting the target, resetting, and then hitting again. It also doesn't really have any secondaries, so you are basically an superiority fighter at 3.0, and because of what has kind of happened to the American tech tree over the years, 3.0 or that area is very stacked in terms of vehicles that you can bring, including stuff like the Corsairs, which are fantastic. They generally work incredibly well. And then you also have a bunch of other stuff too, which is right here. One of the problems with this vehicle as well is it's not really useful for pages of history. Since it's a prototype, it never really gets into them. It's not useful for events because it's only rank 2, so it doesn't actually count. And then you can only do the first daily of the day and not the specials or the second daily. So generally, its usefulness is very limited in terms of it. I think there are much better premiums to pick up for America just because of their usefulness. Stuff like the P51D20NA, for example, or even just the starter pack just to get you rolling through this kind of set of vehicles. America has a ton of really cool airplanes, and the YP-38 is also a very nice one, but it just doesn't fit the game as well as a lot of many others, and also at the same time, there just isn't really a place for it in many lineups. So it's a no to me. Another thing I want to talk about is on Reddit, there was a guy who has posted about the Chinese community's 82 accusations towards Gaijin. And basically this comes from Bilibili, where somebody made a video which translated as 10,000 words of anti-traitor manifesto, the indescribable War Thunder, which is a hell of a title. Let's be honest. But I thought I would do a video later on today kind of going over some of these accusations, but also I wanted to just say this isn't fully translated yet. So far, I think only the first 10 have been translated, and if there's anybody out there who speaks or, you know, understands Chinese, it would be really nice if this could get translated. Because to be honest, I think it's really interesting from an international community point of view to understand what these guys are kind of saying at the end of the day. Because whenever it comes to War Thunder, as we've talked about previously, there is a lot of different kind of little communities here and there, and many of them have just really interesting ways of seeing it, but they all at the same time usually have exactly all the same comments and kind of accusations towards Gaijin. But the thing about it is because they're all the same, it shows that Gaijin isn't really like, you know, going after one community or not. It's just kind of how the game is generally developed. And there's a bunch of like just different kind of videos that have been doing the rounds on Bilibili about these things for China specifically. But understand that a lot of these things are pretty much exactly the same as what a ton of other nations' players complain about. The major issue we have in War Thunder, and I've said this for many years, is the fact that people just don't play more than one or two nations. And this is kind of shown with Stats Shark, where 80% or 90% of the players only play the major three nations. And this leads to a lot of belief of bias between the different nations. And that just kind of sucks at the end of the day. But there's not really a lot you can do about it. So I just thought I would put this out here just to let you know it exists. I'll leave links in the description and also a pinned comment, and hopefully we can get some translations going. If you do or can translate it, it would be lovely if you could either DM me on Discord or maybe put some of the translation in the comment section of this video, or ping me on the Tech Hub Discord with it. Because, to be honest, as I said, I am actually really interested in this stuff. I do find it interesting when, people have, interesting kind of thoughts about these things. I don't like the fact that the Chinese community uses BVD as kind of a way of attacking Gaijin as well. Like, BVD, if you actually know about him, or if you know what he does, or even what he's done in the Chinese community, like literally sitting down and doing interviews with them, like he's done so much in terms of the game, and they use him as kind of a lightning rod to go after, and that just kind of sucks. It's not fun to see at the end of the day, but I mean, it does mean that you do get some hilarious pictures at the end of the day. But I don't know, I suppose it's just the easy way to hammer. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecovo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.